Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
A very good morning to you, dear viewer. Thank you for joining us yet again on our Health Corner show right here on Capuchin TV with me, Maureen Kimani, where we bring a conversation concerning and surrounding your health matter, your well-being, lifestyle, mental health, and many more. And today we're very glad to bring a conversation about non-communicable diseases. And of course, such as heart diseases, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes. So join us as we explore the causes, impacts, and prevention strategies for the health conditions. And of course, joining me right now, we have a guest from St. Mary's Mission Hospital, as usual, because this conversation is brought by Capuchin TV to you in collaboration with St. Mary's Mission Hospital. And he will be helping us to understand more about our conversation today. And if you'd love to be part of this conversation, please share your thoughts, your feedback, and your questions with us on 0717 424 866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. Welcome to the discussion. A very good morning to you, Collins. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you? I'm very okay. It's good to have you here for the first time, actually.
Yes, thank you very much. It's an honor to be part of this conversation.
All right. And because it's our first time having you here as a tradition that we do, please say hello to our viewers, tell them who you are and what you do at St. Mary's Mission Hospital as we begin with our conversation.
Thank you. My name is Collins Kibet, Dr. Collins Kibet. I currently work at St. Mary's Mission Hospital. Actually, I'm a medical officer intern. What you've been hearing about, we are part of the conversation of internship program in the St. Mary's, currently finishing my internship in the next 2 months. We've been there for a year, and we hopefully afterwards we're going to continue with treating our all our public outside the St. Mary's together with all the public in the country. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Collins, for that introduction. And let's just dive into a conversation today. When you talk about non-communicable diseases, how do you describe this? Because I know we have non-communicable and we have communicable diseases. Please explain to our viewers so that they can get to know the differences between the two.
So yes, we do have both, as you have said, non-communicable and communicable. Basically, what it means is in the communicable diseases, these are diseases that you can transmit from one person to the other person, either through air, that is mostly the respiratory, the common cold that we normally get. Those are communicable diseases, pneumonias, TB, that is communicable diseases. Then a non-communicable disease is a disease that one person can have, but you're not able to transmit it to another person. But it is most of them, you normally get them through genetics. You're not, it's not anything that you can transmit from one person. These are now, a good example is a cancer. Someone can have throat cancer. You can live with them at home. It's not necessary that you get throat cancer, but someone with TB, if you're living in a crowded place or you're with someone with TB at your house near your place, or you're living in one room, there's a highly likelihood that you're able to contract the disease. Other communicable diseases are very common in at our country, in our locality, is hypertension, diabetes. Those are quite common, and we see them more often. And it's something that people need to know. If someone has diabetes, they're not able to communicate it to the next person next to you, but there are now lifestyle changes that are going to contribute to you to getting that, and I believe you're going to get more into that as we continue. Yes.
All right. And as long as there is such there is a statement that caught my attention. And I'm just going to read it to you so that you can tell us why is that. And they say that it is the leading cause of death worldwide and represent an emerging global health threat. And death from NCDs now exceed all communicable diseases, deaths combined. Why is that? Or is that? Do you feel there's no much creating awareness that is done, or what is happening, especially we say, for example, in our country, and we're talking here about globally, that is worldwide. How would you describe that?
Actually, the burden of non-communicable diseases is getting higher by the day or by the years. Previously, in the 90s backwards, communicable disease was the major problem. Infections was the major killer disease. Pneumonias, it was a killer before the 90s, before the 80s. Then now there's the invasion of antibiotics. And the good thing about communicable diseases, you're able to treat it. But now for the non-communicable diseases, they're usually lifetime diseases. They're diseases that you just manage. It is something that you can't really say you've been diagnosed with hypertension, you've taken medications for 2 months, then now you're cured. So once you're diagnosed, basically your life has changed from the day you've been diagnosed. So it keeps on piling up year after year, that we're having diabetes, we're having hypertension, we're having increased cancers. And now you add that to the amount of exposures that we are getting ourselves into. With these new technologies, the radiations are increasing. We are having GMO foods. So all this plus now, people are getting more into the sedentary lifestyle, and the online bit is not helping, because many people are in their offices, they are using their laptops. As the president would say, you use your laptop, you earn your money. So there's a sedentary lifestyle that earns a place into it, you getting into more non-communicable diseases. So you combine all these factors, and now you're getting up to people who are in the past, we'd guess this non-communicable disease was a disease of the old people. You'll get it at around 80 years is when people are getting the hypertensions, the cancers, the diabetes. But now you're getting younger and younger people. For instance, even at St. Mary's, you're getting people at the age of around 20s, 30s, these are now guys who are starting to work. You get them diagnosed with colon cancer, get them diagnosed with esophageal cancers, and then their life has just changed like that. So that you add that it becomes a detrimental effect to both the person in a personal capacity, and also to them, to their family, and also to the community at large. Because when you combine all these factors, you're having now, basically you're getting into a sick nation. Yes.
That you explained about some of the factors, including the sedentary lifestyle. Yes. Apart from that, what are some of the other factors that contribute to these non-communicable diseases, especially in our country, Kenya, and what you have experienced in your health expertise area?
So yes, we're having some that cut across all. For example, the diseases, I'll split it into this way. There are some communicable diseases that we know have a direct correlation with the risk factor. For example, someone in Kenya, we are actually number 3 in the most cancer cases in the world for esophageal cancer. So you get that's a very high number. You remember we have more than 190 countries in the whole world, and we are top there at number 3. So there's a direct correlation with smoking, and there's a correlation that normally we say in our country that people like tea, and especially in Kenya, we drink one of the hottest tea in the world. I think it doesn't help, because when you narrow it down to our country, Bomet Kericho has been singled out as the most of the esophageal cancer cases. People come from that region. So it's that tea belt is becoming a problem. So there's direct correlation with taking that hot tea. Then you're getting other types of cancers. Smoking and alcohol cuts across any cancer. You start from esophageal, you go to colon. All that smoking, alcohol is a risk factor. Now you add something like diabetes, hypertension, is where now you're getting the sedentary lifestyle. You're having an increased, you're getting increased prevalence of obesities, and the types of food that we are eating, mostly fatty foods, carbohydrates. Guys are just eating chips, fries, and chicken, but they are not going to work. They're not, by work I mean exercises. You're sitting at an office, all day, you go home, you take a cab, you go to your house, you do one flight of stairs, you're at your house, you sleep, you wake up, and then you do that repeatedly for 5, 6, 10 years. You are definitely going to end up with either getting diabetes, hypertension, or both. Then now we are getting, which is now new, is the new types of foods. We're having, to increase production, we are getting a lot of fertilizers. Some of them are genetically modified foods, which are now GMOs. So you have that vis-a-vis what we used to take as the natural foods there in the past. You're having, for GMOs, basically what they've done, they change the DNA of the plant. When you change the DNA, once you start cooking it and having using of pesticides in our farms, all this, they're going to be an issue to our bodies, because all this is foreign material, all these are chemicals. Now you're getting into cancers. Adding on top of that is our, would say, meat, our meat lovers. And you normally find these meat lovers, they're using the choma nyama kidogo, and then they add salt on top. And normally we don't advise anyone to do added salts. Salts are just supposed to be cooked with the food. So you add nyama choma with added salts, and then you find at the same setting is always alcohol within the vicinity. So eventually you're going to get a colon cancer. So those are some of the risk factors that we normally look at, and there are things that you can modify, there are things that you cannot modify. Things that you can't modify are things like the genetics. If, for instance, your mother or someone in your family, a close relative of the family had breast cancer, there is high likelihood that you as a sibling or a member of that family, you can have breast cancer. That is a genetic bit. You cannot change it. You can only prevent it. That's why even in the West, and that's where the medicine is going, if a parent or your sister or your sibling had breast cancer, you do genetic testing for it. Then you do genetic testing for yourself or for the children, so that if they have that gene, we call it the BRCA1 and BRCA2. If they have the gene, you are, for breast cancer especially, you are almost 90% sure that at the age of 40, 45, or somewhere in their life, they're going to develop breast cancer. So people now are doing, you do it prophylactic removal of the breast, and that's what people are doing, so that you have a longer longevity of your life. Others you can't modify. Those are the age, more of the cancers with age, more hypertension with age. And then now things you can modify is now the lifestyle, the type of food, and what you're able to, what you are taking, the type of work you do. That one you can modify towards a way and making a better life for yourself. Yes.
Much, Dr. And I loved that you touched the bit of taking the hot, tea, especially right now. It's a bit cold in Nairobi. So actually, when you visit in the office, you find everyone having their cup of coffee or even tea to keep them warm. All right. And talking about the age, you talked about before then, it was from the age of between 70 and above. But right now, you are finding even young people having these non-communicable diseases. Are the men prone to these non-communicable diseases, or the women are more prone to having this one?
Okay. So for the non-communicable, actually, it splits. Something like hypertension, it splits right into the middle. It's about 50-50. Also for diabetes, is almost, there's no significant difference between the genders as male or female. That you have a split. But now when you're having something like colon cancer, you're seeing more of the men. And this now you're going to get, if you look at the risk factors that you're likely to get colon cancer. One is there's a gene that runs through the families, and it runs through mostly the male family, the male gender. So there's that risk first. That's a big bias. Then a high risk factor for colon cancer is smoking, alcohol, red meat. We normally say this red meat, and then now you add those three things, you'll see mostly it's the men who are engaged into this. But nowadays, you're now getting ladies into engaging into this. So the trend has now become, you are starting to see also ladies getting, which used to be a bit uncommon. They start getting these colon cancers, which before we'd say it was mostly men. Now, then the others now, which has, of course, the female bias, the breast cancers has a more female bias. The gene goes through the X gene, which is for the female. But sometimes you get men getting breast cancer, and for men it's even worse because there's no much breast tissue, so it's a more rapid disease if it gets to men. So for gender, I would say there are things that are split right in the middle for ladies, for men. Like prostate C would just be for men. Of course, ladies don't have a prostate. Same as cervical cancer will now be strictly for women because of the same reason. But you get the risk factors for almost all of them are intertwined. So you can get someone having risk factor for esophageal C. Esophageal C also has almost a 50-50 split between men and women. So you're getting, even at St. Mary's, you're getting more or less the same number of diagnoses of if it's esophageal C, you're getting gastric C. It's more or less right in the middle for both men and women. So mostly for the non-communicable diseases, we can't really say, apart from those specifics that are specific to men, specific to women, it is split right in the middle. Anyone can get it. Yes.
About the non-communicable diseases, what are some of the challenges that the country face, even for yourself, medical practitioner, in addressing these non-communicable diseases? And are there any strategies that are set to, address all these issues?
So the challenge we get is that our population is rising so exponentially. I remember while we were growing up, we used to say we are 26 million Kenyans. Right now, I don't know if I'll say we are a food. It's more like 10 years from the time I remember us being 26 million or so. Now we are at almost 50. So that plus what we have discussed earlier will tell you that you are getting also an exponential number of these, especially the non-communicable diseases. Because remember, as we discussed earlier, these are diseases that you live with them for life. If you have diabetes, it's for life. You have hypertension, it's for life. So someone gets diagnosed at 35 or at 40, we can say they live up to 100 years. They're going to live with that for long, for around 60 years. So now the effect that you're going to have that is the number of hospitals that you're having. Maybe they're increasing, but are they increasing with the amount, the exponential amount of the population? Probably not. The amount of health workers we're having a challenge, because now you have to follow up. If you're having diabetes, hypertension, you have to be followed up at least every month. Then once you are stable, you're being followed up at least every 2 months. You have to go back to hospital, do a checkup. You have to go back to hospital, do a checkup. So you have this, and then now you're having, that is the problem in the urban. Once you go to the rural, the problem changes, because now the problem in the rural is even the awareness is still a problem. You get someone, and this is maybe from where I come from, nobody goes to hospital unless they're actually sick. So the problem is, if you tell them you need to do at least a 1-year checkup, at least once a year, even if you've not fallen ill to go to hospital, just go to hospital, do your blood pressure measurement, random blood sugar measurement. It won't cost you much, but it will probably save your life. What our viewers need to know, something like hypertension, it's in medical world we call it a silent disease. the reason we call it a silent killer disease. The reason we call it a silent killer, you have no symptoms. Most of them will just get a regular headache. You just get a headache today. You tell yourself, EJ imekuwa kali, or kazi imekuwa mingi. I've gone up and down in town today. You get a regular headache. Now you get people who are having regular headaches. They just take paracetamol. They get well. Get paracetamol. They get well. Not knowing it's actually the first symptom of having high blood pressure. You're going to get a headache today, feeling a bit dizzy, or you are having some pain in your eyes. You don't want to see the light. No one will think to go and measure the blood pressure. But by the time you're getting diagnosed or getting sick with blood pressure, it will mean you're having a stroke or you're having kidney failure, because that is what the effect comes about with blood pressure control. And then the problem now you're getting with the rural is, once you diagnose them, first they'll go through a very long period of denial. So you've told them they've come today, they're sick. You do a blood pressure as the routine. You tell them it is high. They're not feeling any pain. They're not feeling any sickness. They are going on with their normal duties. They come, they measure again. They are told it's high. You need to start medications. And then comes to the stigma of, you're going to do these medications for life. So someone thinking to do tablets for life is the major challenge. Mind you, it's just one tablet, and so we're having a challenge with awareness, especially at the rural. The urban is improving. Many people are now getting into physical fitness. They're getting into the gyms. They are accepting that I can be hypertensive and I can live with it for life. So they're just, it's one tablet a day. You have a measurement in your home. So the challenge of awareness is still a big problem. And now you add that we are going to have a challenge with the number of health workers. So you're having one physician, you're going to see so many patients. Then you're not able to follow up the patients. You're not able to help them, because now today, with the statistics in our country, if you do one doctor, is supposed to be taking care of around 17,000 Kenyans. So you see, that is a huge number. So we say, almost a third of those get sick, because not everyone would be sick at the same time. So you have a third of those get sick, and then now you can say a third, so that will be around 5,000, 6,000 get sick. Then say a third of those ones have non-communicable diseases, hypertension, diabetes, and all that. So you're having one doctor to see around 2,000 patients with non-communicable disease. It's going to be impossible to follow that up, because ideally what should be the standard is one doctor should see 1,000 Kenyans or 1,000 citizens. Now when you do a third and a third and a third of that, you're going to see one doctor seeing almost 100 people with non-communicable disease. And we've discussed they just do every 1 month, every 2 months. So you're going to be seeing 30 patients a week, which is a bit manageable. So we're still having a long way, and I believe we will need more health workers. We need more service providers. We need a lot of education, especially at the rural. And for the urban, the problem is always the lifestyle. Yes.
Dr. Collins, for that, and maybe we shall take a very short break, but when we come back, you shall talk to us. Do you have any activities that at St. Mary's Mission Hospital will be happening just to create awareness on these non-communicable diseases? And of course, maybe are there any activities or maybe things that the Kenyans can be able to do to ensure that they don't get prone to these non-communicable diseases, starting with their lifestyle, that is sedentary lifestyle. So stay tuned for that conversation. We're going to take a very short break, but when we come back, we shall continue with our conversation. And in case you still have any question to us, you can share with us. That is on 0717-424-866, or you can use our SMS number, that is 21760. Stay tuned.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.
Jumapili hii, tarehe 21 mwezi huu, ni zamu ya Jimbo Katoliki la Eldoret. Kwa mwaliko wa Askofu Dominic Kimengich, mapadre, watawa na Wakristo wa jimbo hilo, Capuchin TV tutaungana nao kwenye adhimisho la ibada takatifu ya misa ya mchango maalum. Mchango huu ni wa kufanikisha maendeleo katika shrine ya jimbo hilo ambayo ni Mary Queen of Peace, Kabiet.
Jumapili tarehe 21 April mwaka huu, misa itaanza saa 4 katika eneo hilo la Kabiet.
Ibada hii itakufikia hapa Capuchin TV na kwenye mitandao yetu ya kijamii moja kwa moja kutoka Kabiet. Ikiwa ungependa kushiriki kwenye
Yo, what's up my guys? Jenny was say the wait is finally over.
Yeah, and Capuchin TV brings you exciting news for the youth this year 2024 with the youth program called
Form ni Faith. In this particular program, we will be bringing you Bible trivias.
We have discussions, we have talent show for those ones who love to showcase their talents like singing.
I do what I care for my people.
Modeling,
oral narratives, spoken words.
Hey, stop walking while I'm talking. Nataka kuji-express, at least nito stress. Even if I can smile, it's only for a while. Yesu anakudai, that's why he accepted to die on the cross, to remove your dilemma and to give you a new direction.
Catch us on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only at Capuchin TV.
You can also get the repeat shows every Wednesday from 7 p.m. again only on Capuchin TV. And remember,
if you would love us to come and cover your event, you can contact us on 0717-424-866. Form New Faith with your favorite host, Maureen Kimani.
And I, Maggie Maina.
Come all to enjoy in Christ.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health.
Hello dear viewer, welcome back to our conversation right here on Capuchin TV with me, Maureen Kimani, as we continue to bring you this conversation to aiming to empower you with knowledge and to lead a healthier life, and that is non-communicable diseases. And with me in the studio we have Collins Kibet, who is from St. Mary's Mission Hospital. And of course, in case you are joining us right now, we have been able to understand more about what are these non-communicable diseases, and of course, the difference between communicable and non-communicable diseases. And we continue with this conversation. So welcome back to you all, and to you, Daktari. Karibu to our second part. And before we had gone for the break, I remember I mentioned when we come back, we shall talk about, are there any initiative or policies that are set to ensure that you create awareness of these non-communicable diseases in Kenya and of course at St. Mary's Mission Hospital? Do you have any plans?
So yeah, we normally do have, especially in St. Mary's, we have monthly checkups that we normally do every month, every Saturday or third Saturday of the month, we're having a diabetic camp. We do both diabetic, hypertension. It's actually a non-communicable disease screening camp. Diabetic screening for any person who walks in. We do a diabetic screening, hypertension screening, especially, and also follow-up for all our patients or any other patient who is around who knows they are already diagnosed. We do that follow-up. What we also do as St. Mary's, we go to the communities, do sensitizations, because some people are not able to come all the way to the facility, to the hospital. Go to the community, go to the schools. You at least you're able to sensitize them more, because the problem, ignorance is not bliss. So we have to teach, we have to sensitize them about everything that we are talking about right here. Anyone who's not able to be reached, we go try to find them in the community. Also, what the government is doing with the community health workers that were deployed, in our medical practice, we see it as it's a double-edged sword in this sense that they are deployed with a kit with they have a kit. This kit contains some blood pressure measurement. They have a random blood sugar measurement. So when they go to the community, they're going to measure these blood pressures. They're going to measure this. Then they will be able to diagnose someone there at home. So that is the good bit of the sword. The flip side of the coin is once they do that diagnosis, sometimes they're not going to get someone to be started on a medication before they come to a hospital. So now that's where the challenge is going to be. That's such that someone is started on a medication that is not by the doctor, which will now become a problem because there are different types of medications and we give it to different types of people. And someone needs to have gone to medical school to learn all that and to see which medication do I give who and why. So there is that. That is the sad bit. And also the problem you're going to have normally when you diagnose someone with diabetes, hypertension, it's a scary diagnosis, especially because it's a lifetime illness. So you're going to get these people, they start shying away from going to a hospital because they already know, that's the denial bit, that the problem might be this, and I already know that I'm going to, sometimes for diabetes you have to do injections all the time for and these are drugs you're going to do for the rest of your life. So it's a challenge, but we don't have much to do. We have to keep on helping. We have to keep on assisting. At St. Mary's, we are having all through the week, actually every day, we are having everyone at our outpatient. First you come in, you have to do what normally people see as vital signs. You walk in, you have to do a blood pressure, you have to do this. People use it as routine, but it is very diagnostic because you don't know who has what. So you're having that, and then we have our consultant who is always available for anyone to. If you're diagnosed, if you are already in follow-up, you can now continue doing a follow-up at our facility. Yes.
Thank you very much. And I remember on a first part you talked about until someone, feels bad, that's when you go to the hospital. No one just, gets in the hospital just for a normal checkup. Could you kindly emphasize on the importance of screening and for early detection, that is detection for these non-communicable diseases?
Yes, that's actually the key. I've seen the government trying to do that. Prevention is actually better than, for this is better than the management, because most of them don't have a cure. But especially for the cancers, you do early detection, you can get a cure. For hypertension, diabetes, what you can do is prevention. You can prevent you from getting into that, into diabetes, getting into hypertension. For instance, right now, we're having cervical cancer. The burden is huge in women. And we have had advances in medicine that we are now introduced a vaccine for, especially we do it for children less than 12 years. and any adult less than 25. We do vaccine, HPV vaccine, because we've correlated cervical cancer to be caused by HPV, human papillomavirus, which is now type 16 and 18. So once you have that, there's direct correlation for you getting cervical cancer in the future. So there's a vaccine that prevents you from getting this virus or this strain of the virus. So that is a good milestone that in the future, our sisters who are growing now, who are now in their teenage years, they get the vaccine, they'll be protected from cervical cancer in the future. Number two, you're having increased colon cancer patients. Issue with colon cancer, the goodness is once you find it when it's still at the first stage or at stage 2, you do a resection of the tumor, and basically you become tumor free. This we normally do it the screening for colon cancer. We know what we advise is anyone who has reached the age of 40, especially men, but nowadays just do for both male and female. Once you're at 40 years, go do a colonoscopy, see that there's no tumor. Because at first it will start just as a normal. Sometimes you're getting constipated, you're okay. Sometimes you get an episode of diarrhea, you're okay. And then by the time you're getting bleeding and all that, it is too late. But once you're at 40 years, get yourself a colonoscopy, get an endoscopy to see if there's any issue with your esophagus. And the goodness with this is once you do, like for colon cancer, you do a colonoscopy today and it is normal, you're secure for the next 10 years. So you're going to do it when you're 50. Once you're 50, where you do it, it's normal, you're secure for the next 5 years. And then you'll be doing after every 5 years. So it's not something that it doesn't take much of your time. We do it at St. Mary's, just you come in the morning, you're booked, you go home. So it is just a one-day thing, actually half a day, because you just come, you go home, and you continue the business. And then you are safe for the next 10 years, or you've removed that from your mind that this is gone. Thirdly is the familial illnesses. Now, this is like the breast cancer that we're talking about. If anyone in your family has this strain, it is very good and it is prudent for you to go do the gene checkup, because you can find that you don't have the gene and then you're fine, or you can find that you have the gene, then you're able to mitigate it before, because when the disease starts, it becomes a challenge. For hypertension, basically you're going to get, nowadays, as I said earlier, it's not the disease of the old anymore, it's the disease of the young. You're going to, if you have anyone, you walk into hospital, just measure your blood pressure. And take note, if they tell you it is high, it is high. You need to get someone to at least help you out. And finally, for diabetes, there are two types of diabetes. You have type 1 and type 2. For type 1, most of it is genetic. You're having a family history of diabetes. This one, most of it, there's nothing you can do about it, because you're having your pancreas is not able to produce insulin. So you're going to have these are mostly in kids by the time they are 10, 12 years. When we say anyone below 30 who gets diabetes, it's the type 1 diabetes. Those ones will just use insulin. But now this type 2 diabetes is basically it is you causing it to yourself, because now it's all about the lifestyle, obesity, sedentary lifestyle. Now you're not able to resist insulin. You get insulin resistance, actually. Then now this, you normally see it at the age of 40s. Someone who has lived a quote-unquote a good life, then they start getting diabetic. That you can do a preventive measure for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And not forgetting, I'd love to congratulate the St. Mary's Mission Hospital team, because I know you have been having this diabetic wellness camp, and there was a day we came to cover, and last week there was another one, so you're doing a very good job. Yeah, and we appreciate you. So how does the St. Mary's Mission Hospital approach the non-communicable diseases, that is from prevention, diagnosis, and treatment?
So mostly, of course, as a hospital, there's that the prevention bit is all about awareness. You make people aware. Even doing such an interview is us trying to raise awareness, people being told about because you get so many misconceptions, myths out there that we need to demystify as health workers. So we do that as points of prevention. And then now part of the cure, of course, now if you're having a challenge, you're having any complication of any of these communicable, non-communicable diseases, of course, we offer the treatment. Then now there's the follow-up. The follow-up, we have a daily follow-up. And if you need a consultant's visit, there's a daily consultant's visit, both for the surgical bit, for the medical bits. We have all that we're having under one roof. So I think people need to come around and see. Yes.
And we have some people who are following the conversation. We have James Hoithaka, but he didn't say where he's following us from. And we have Mercy Kemboi. They're saying tuned into the conversation. Thank you very much for the good work. And I understand that our time is almost up, and maybe we can do the parting shot. And what are some of the advices that you'd love to share to the viewers and who are afraid about, the risk factors about the non-communicable diseases, and they would love to take care of themselves?
So, the saying goes, of course, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
So you need to, there's so many things that contribute to non-communicable diseases. There's the good thing about it is most of it, there's something you can always do about. If you're having a sedentary lifestyle, either by choice or not by choice, if maybe your type of work is you sit at a desk, there are things that you can do. Maybe after work, you make sure you do some exercise. There's always something that we normally say, a BMI. You ensure that your BMI is not more than 24. So if you're having any weight gain, you do some weight loss. For tea, it's a challenge because that's now a cultural issue. You're having a combination of actually tea and what people from our side call mursik is a problem. So that is a culture issue that we need to demystify. There are things you can do about it to reduce that. And what I can tell people is that once you get an early diagnosis or an early screening, you increase your longevity of life. Basically, you have a shot to basically treatment. If you stay at home or you continue with or ignoring the signals from your body, the good thing about our body is it normally gives you signals. If you are having a sedentary lifestyle, poor feeding, poor appetite, you're going to start getting weight gain and all that. That's already a red flag. It's only that you are ignoring the red flag. There are things that you are supposed to be doing. You go to your hospital, at least for youth or someone who is of good health, at least once a year. Go pass by, go through a hospital, do some screening, basic screening. It looks basic, but it is life-saving. If you're above 40, there are things we have discussed that you need to be doing. And it is something, it's actually life-changing. We've seen patients who have come, we do a colonoscopy at our facility. We get them at stage 1. We do the surgery it's in St. Mary's, send that to the lab, and then they become cancer-free. So there are those, they are the good stories. And of course, there's the flip side of the coin where someone comes in, it is already too late. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't do any surgical intervention. So it just now becomes palliative, basically end of life. So both sides of the coin are there and they're existing in the same country. So it is us as health workers, also as the media, to enlighten the people, because these are two, basically what we say, day and night examples of people living in the same country but having totally different cares. So if you take that example, it's someone, you've done the resection, they're are cancer-free, they know it's not coming back. They continue their life as a normal person. They live a more longevity in their life. So it is something that we need to do, especially for these non-communicable diseases. The conversion must go on. Yes, and I think the future is bright. Yes.
Thank you very much. And as we wrap up with our conversation, I would love you to talk to our viewer in case someone would love to visit St. Mary's Mission Hospital for this clinic and even screening for diabetes. When can they come in?
Yeah, for diabetic screening, we are on all day, all night, 24 hours. That one you can always swing by to meet our consultants for diabetes, hypertension, any heart disease. We're having a consultant cardiologist who's always there on Tuesdays and on Fridays. You just come, you're able to meet. For the surgical bit, we're having both our consultants on Mondays and on Thursdays. We're having the clinics running. That's when the consultants are at the clinics. But otherwise, if you're having any issue in between, we always an open door, and our consultants are always on call. So basically, any time that you feel something is not well or something is wrong, you feel free to come. You'll find help.
Thank you very much, Dr. Collins, for making time and for your, insightful and informative conversation right here on Capuchin TV, where we engage and enlighten our viewers by creating awareness on these types of diseases and especially their health, well-being. And well, I think that brings us to the end of a conversation, and I loved that you mentioned about the importance of exercising. There is also making sure that you don't live in that sedentary lifestyles and watching the diet. So I would say that would be my takeaway home. And of course, to the people who are sitting and doing the Capuchin TV crew behind the scene, I'm sure they are also following the conversation and taking the keynotes to that conversation. And so thank you very much for making time, and thanks to St. Mary's Mission Hospital at large. Well, and not forgetting the Capuchin TV crew that were behind the scene. We have Eric Otieno, we have Justus Okari, Willie Calvin Zissa, and Cyrus and Edwin. So thank you very much for staying tuned into this conversation. Till next time, I'll say you stay tuned for more insightful discussion on health topics. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, stay healthy. My name is Maureen Kimani. God bless.
Enjoy this conversation with me, Maureen Kimani, every Friday from 9 a.m. on our Health Corner show here at Capuchin TV. Your health is your wealth.